Good evening, good afternoon, good night, Mr. and Mrs. YouTube. How are we doing today? We are going to be reacting to Jeff Corwin because it came up. Jeff Corwin. This man it came up in a conversation about Steve Irwin and this new show it's on Disney, right? And it's like this guy is supposed to be the next Jeff, or the next Steve Irwin. However, I didn't like it. And this guy needs to know his place. So this is kind of like not really my way of doing things. So I'm going to show you one clip from when he was younger, when I was watching him. This was 12 years ago.
If you're a college student like me,
so when I was a kid,
you need Grammarly.
I know you guys can't see it, so hold on. One memento.
In your life, Grammarly is a digital writing
Grammarly, get me Starbucks coffee. I'm so cool.
My world is filled with serpents.
This only goes to 480p.
From the rainforests of South America.
That's Jeff Corwin. I know you can't really tell.
The swamps of Louisiana, a brand new water moccasin. But
We have those in Florida, by the way.
with venom. The deserts of Africa. If you don't get the antivenom, you're going to die if you're bit by this snake.
He's very careful. So the one thing I liked Jeff Corwin better than Steve Irwin was he was a lot safer with the snakes and the very poisonous thing. I mean, it's a meme about Steve Irwin. It's the most dangerous snake in the world. I'm a poke it. Yeah, homie right here grabbed his snake tongs and picked it up with the snake tongs and then grabbed it behind the head after he had control of the snake, not just go up and pick it up by the tail like, look at this. But on the downside, a lot of people knew Steve Irwin a lot better. Sorry, I got a text. And so, I mean, I personally like both, but I don't think we'll ever see. I mean, Jeff Corwin's, he's a little bit older, I have to say.
My most spectacular Jeff Corwin experience.
God, that is an old Animal Planet logo. This just brings back my childhood. Although I don't like snakes.
Hi, I'm Jeff Corwin, and I want to welcome you to my Snake-tacular. Now, in appearance, very beautiful. To find it, we have to go to a small island off the coast of Brazil.
Do people remember Zaboomafoo? Is that a thing that they remember?
No humans live here, and no wonder, because this island is crawling with deadly vipers. It's a 4-hour boat ride from here to the mainland.
Jesus.
And the Brazilian government requires us to bring antivenom.
Yeah. It's 4 hours, buddy. I mean, yeah, it was great entertainment for kids because he was able to like grab your attention and hold on to it. Jeff Corwin's about the reason I like Jeff Corwin was he always presented the information and stuff. He didn't like go nuts. Like he was entertaining in different ways, as you'll probably see.
Wow. Look at this.
God, I cannot believe how far we've come.
Okay, that's a good place for you. Between the leaves of this bromeliad is this beautiful snake. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet because I need to concentrate.
Okay, I'm gonna be quiet because I need to
Very
concentrate.
quick, so they're very tricky to catch.
And if they were like non-venomous, then he'd go in and grab it like he's doing.
My gosh. Woo, woo. You're feisty.
Feisty.
See, the problem with vipers is
Yeah,
that
he may be venomous, I don't know.
by nature, when left alone, like to mind their own business. But when they're pressed or when they feel threatened, they are quick to struggle, quick to strike. And I don't want to be bit by the snake, but I also don't want the snake to injure himself. Okay, and he could do that. He could easily puncture his own flesh with those two very large fangs to the front of his mouth. I'm using my fingers. I've got my thumb and middle finger on either side of the jaw. I've got my index finger supporting his head. But he's really moving around a lot. I'm afraid he's going to injure himself. So I'm going to let him go, and that's okay. Because there's another snake right behind you. By the way, I'm describing how I'm holding the snake. That by no means is instruction for you to go capture your own snake.
Exactly. A lot of kids, they watch like Steve Irwin, like, I'm gonna do this, and got fucking bit. Kids, don't fucking do this. You're not a trained professional. I don't tell you to go sit there and play with guns. So, don't go play with these, right? They're great tools. But, yeah. Don't go play with them. Don't be stupid with stuff. I mean, some of these kids are the reasons we have to have warning labels on Tide Pods. Never looked at a Tide Pod and went, yummy. But apparently some of those in my generation were like, yummy. And now we have to have warning labels on everything. I thought it was just common sense.
There we go.
Right
Behind you, another one.
So you got a snake stick. No, don't go fucking catch a snake.
I really didn't believe them, but there were snakes, and they were everywhere.
Don't go catching snakes,
Warning
guys.
step even further, and that is to have a rattle on the end of its tail. But this snake doesn't have a rattle. What it would rely on are the leaves and sticks around that tail, which will make a flickering sound when he feels alarmed. There you go, you precious, precious snake.
This brings back my childhood. Oh, I agree 100%.
My trip to Ecuador
Don't eat
was
Tide
just the
Pods,
opposite
guys.
of my experience in Brazil. The snakes weren't in the trees. I couldn't find any anywhere. And then, when I finally did find one,
I was just coming across his path, and suddenly, this very cantankerous serpent has appeared. What are you? Come here, buddy. Look at you. Beautiful snake.
It's a pretty snake.
Man, look at the colors on him.
Oh yeah, that's definitely what I would be doing. I would be definitely chasing after that snake.
I've never seen a cat-eyed snake move that fast.
Cat-eyed snake. Apparently that's what it is.
And there he goes.
All right, so the cat-eyed snake got away. But you know what? Later, I found a real treasure. Or flee into the jungle.
If you look right in front of me, you can see a spectacular looking snake. It's come down from the canopy. Tomato, worm, green, vine snake. Beautiful vine snake.
Oh man, the audio's starting to cut out. All right, so you guys get the picture. That's what I grew up on, right? So let's go back and he became more of like a consultant. But here's something. I think this is near Florida.
I explored the Caribbean
Yeah,
island of
this is
Grand
definitely
Cayman,
near
its
Florida.
famous Stingray city.
Because this looks like some of the stuff I've
May
seen.
weigh 50 or 60 pounds. It is conditioned to go along for the ride. Then I get up close with an extremely rare reptile that only lives
Can you
here.
see like there's
Dark
such a
right now, but
difference,
as
you
the
know?
sun hits it, it turns blue. And I experienced lobsters the Cayman Island way. It's tender.
By the way, we're not
salty,
going to be
briny,
watching this
sweet.
whole thing.
I'm Jeff
I'll be getting
I'm
about
on a trip of a lifetime. Cruising
I'll get about
the
10 minutes
greatest
into this.
places on the planet.
10 minutes
Come
and 22
ashore at a
seconds.
new port and head out on the best day trip ever.
Yeah,
What's really
so
cool
pretty.
about this experience, anyone
I wouldn't
can
want to do that,
For me,
but
it's about exploring. And
no,
matter what,
not in a million years would I go cave dive in the water.
this is
Fuck
Ocean
no.
Trek.
There is too many places. No, just no. That terrifies me. Even caves terrify me.
Everyone here and welcome to an awesome
No,
adventure. We
no.
just arrived to Grand Cayman aboard
Do you know
the
how many people die a year in Florida because they're just idiots and they go, I'm gonna go through these caves in the water? No, The reason we don't do that in Florida is the whole state is honeycombed. There was a couple that started on the East Coast. They died under the state and floated their way to the West Coast. They entered in about Port St. Lucie. They fucking came out about Tampa. No, just fucking no. I will never do that. I don't want anybody I know doing it. It just terrifies me. Yeah, but it's so easy to get lost and confused.
On Stingrays,
I don't.
on blue iguanas, and if that isn't enough, we're going to be going under the seas in search of Caribbean lobsters. One adventure.
Caribbean? Caribbean? How do you say it? Caribbean or Caribbean?
Cruise director has some tips
Caribbean or
for getting adventure
Caribbean?
on shore.
I say
Before we
Caribbean.
begin our journey,
Actually, no, I don't. I say Caribbean.
my friend Kelly, her mission is to inspire
That's such a
people
fake
to kind
smile.
of get out of their comfort.
Also, Mans has been eating very well, by the way. Miss Noodles, it's, you know how some people have an irrational fear of spiders? That is my irrational fear. I do not care how many professionals say, yeah, it's fine, you'll be safe. I will never fucking do that. I do not care.
Kind of get out of their comfort zone, isn't it?
It is. When you try new things, those are the times
Oh
that you
god,
come
that's just
home and you're like,
fucking
"Man,
terrifying
I
to
had a
think
great
about.
day."
No.
Getting out of your routine.
End of discussion.
Well,
No
there's so
more.
many simple things
Fucking A,
you
that makes
can
my
do
skin
that are
crawl.
new. Maybe trying a new cuisine. Maybe if you always turn right,
Lady,
try
I don't.
Bar just offshore.
Let's get to the water. Let's get to this. Oh yeah. So there's a special walk we do in Florida. I don't know how many other like ocean states do this, but it's called the Stingray Shuffle is what we call it. It's where we don't pick up our feet to walk. We kind of shuffle our feet through the sand. So if there are any stingrays, we don't get fucking got.
Millions of people come to this island
That dude is
every
jacked.
year solely
Jesus
for the
Christ.
purpose of connecting with these creatures. And this is Jessica Harvey, and she's a biologist. Why do people have a fascination with southern stingrays?
It's crystal clear water. People of all swimming
Well,
abilities
that's a
can
very
stand
nice
in this
accent.
mud. It's one of the rare places where you can actually interact with an animal that people normally feel threatened by.
I don't feel threatened by it.
In actuality,
I've
they're-
never felt threatened by a stingray or anything marine life wise. Sharks depends. Like a great white, not really. Not that I've ever seen a great white. Bonnet heads, I've seen bonnet heads. They're fine. Yeah, just lemon sharks. That big. The only ones that we really got to worry about is like the tiger and the bull. Tiger and bull.
are really friendly.
Just kind of.
And the goal is to keep
I mean,
this
it did.
connection
No,
as
his cameraman, the cameraman killed Steve. Because the number one rule of any trauma, first aid, let's go. If you have something impaled, you do not yank it out. You wait for someone to cut it out. That's what killed Steve Irwin, was his cameraman in a panic wanted to save his life and ripped out part of his heart.
positive and as healthy as possible.
We want to make sure
Homie
that
is healthy. He's been
with
eating
this
his
kind of
Wheaties.
Human interaction are safe because at the end of the day, they play an important part in our
Stingrays are
ecosystem,
actually fun to
and we
catch too.
have a
Like on a,
responsibility
they
to
eat
make
shrimp.
sure
They're bottom
that-
feeders, so they eat shrimp and stuff like that. So when one bites your hook, yeah, he yanked it out and pretty much killed Steve Irwin. So when you set the hook, it like catches in their lip. It doesn't really hurt them, and we buy the hooks that will rust away and will be completely the fish will be fine, right? So you hook it and it's just such a fun fight. Like that's a good one.
They are not hindered in any way by this constant interaction.
All right, so should we go find some rays?
Absolutely.
I'm
Let's do
fucking
it.
doing it, man.
Nearby, dozens of
Oh, that's
tourists
so
delight in the
nice.
nature of
Water.
these gentle
I'm going to the
giants,
Caribbean,
which
guys. We're going to the Caribbean.
underscores the importance of
I want
this
to swim in that
project.
water.
So right here
Oh.
is a stingray. It's sitting pretty. It's used to people, even though it may weigh 50 or 60 pounds. Has a barb this big. It is conditioned to go along for the ride.
Right.
All right, let's do it. Now I'm gonna slide over here.
Oh, it's such beautiful water.
Net.
See, and that's what we have something called, or where I used to live, Sebastian Inlet. that water used to look like that. And as a matter of fact, during COVID, during the quarantine, the water became like that again. But a couple of my friends said that it's not worth going anymore because someone dredged the channel again and killed a lot of the sea life down there, which is very, very fucking sad. Because when I was a kid, when we went, there was just tons of shit that you could see. I mean, we had found seahorses that hadn't been there for 40 or 50 years. They were starting to come back. Little fucking rock lobsters. And I mean, like, little lobsters. And, you know, just all that cool stuff. But, yeah, the city was like, we need to make it a bigger channel. I'm smart. And fucking dredged it. And they're absolutely moronic. And, yeah, ended up killing a lot of the life. So it looks very pretty. The water looks very pretty, but there's not a fucking thing there. So, yeah.
So receiving team ready?
I love the water, man.
And lift.
Once the Stingray is safely in a pool of water, we
Oh,
can
it's
begin
so
the
cool.
research study. So,
By the way, if anybody ever gives you, I think it's imitation scallops, just say no. You'll thank me later.
Jess has got this paper clip and a washcloth. And essentially what you're doing is you're making this stingray defenseless.
Pretty much.
And also preventing us from being
Wow, she had a bad hair day with that mask.
Syringe-like barb
Because it's Stingray.
that comes out from that tail, it's got venom.
Mountain oysters is goat balls. Or it's some animal's
Gets inside you,
testicles.
it hurts.
Don't eat it. You're eating kids. Now, ladies, I know some of you guys might be into that, but gentlemen, please don't chew balls unless that's your thing.
Got this scanner right here, this wand. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
All right, so we
Cool.
got her ID. Remember, she's had a microchip because these rays are part of a long-term study. So we know
cool.
her. That's great. We've got to move pretty quickly because she's out of her element. She's experiencing the ultimate human alien abduction. So we get some measurements here. Wingtip to wingtip. So basically, we're getting
Yeah, mountain oysters is testicles. Don't ever eat them.
101.
She looks like she goes to the beach every day. Granted, she's about, I mean, she's, you know, a researcher, a marine researcher. But even if I had no idea about who she was or what she does, I would be like, yeah, she's a surfer. I can tell you. She has like that surfer vibe.
Okay, so this is harmless. Snip. So we have this tiny.
That's what I
little piece
love
of
about
flesh.
Jeff Corwin
This will
and Steve
regenerate.
Irwin. They're
This
never
gives
hurt
us
the
This
animals.
incredible endless reservoir of data. We can learn about her biochemistry, whether she's been eating toxins, and we learn about her genetics. All important information that goes back to the lab, and she goes back into the water. All right.
I have a wetsuit somewhere, but I don't know where it is.
Okay.
One ray done. A few more to go. Awesome. All right, let's go get another ray.
famous residence. You've got this great ribbon of
We actually have those here in Florida. These iguanas, they're invasive. You're supposed to technically kill them on site because they're destroying some of the. Well, I think you're supposed to kill them on site. I don't know. I'm not gonna say whether you can or can't. I know for wild boar, you're supposed to kill on site because actually you can be fined if you don't. Same with lionfish. Now I know some people don't like to hear that those are. I knew you were about to say that. The problem with not killing them is they're killing our ecosystem instead. And for lionfish, you can actually get a fine if you don't kill it. You see one, you don't kill one, you can actually get a fine. If an FWC officer finds out, you can get a fine. And lionfish are destroying our coastal ecosystems. The the pigs are destroying our natural habitats. I mean, it's just fucking horrible. I mean, I get it. All life's fucking sacred, but at this point, man, Florida's losing acres of wildlife habitat because of these hogs and whatnot. I mean, it's getting bad. And lionfish are just. I mean, I don't know if they're necessarily out of control, but I do know they're still pretty
Like
supposed to kill them.
go down.
And wild boars don't look like the cute domesticated pigs. They're not. I can tell you that.
Water headlined this amazing
They're not.
destination. But another highlight is a botanical garden where anyone can see iconic giant lizards that nearly went extinct in recent years. This
Just come to
gorgeous
Miami,
reptile
dude. They're all over the
is
place.
The blue iguana, and it is an endemic species, which means it only lives here. You can see his coloration.
That's cool.
It's dark right now, but as the sun hits it, it turns blue. You notice at the top, you've got this
That's cool as hell.
ribbon of dragon-like spines that go down. You see a large tail, a tail that provides balance, also a tool for defense. So the big question, why is this gorgeous blue iguana critically endangered? So the first challenge that these iguanas faced was habitat loss. They need very specific types of ecosystems or environments to live in. They're primarily herbivores, they're plant eaters.
The problem we're having with a lot of the with the Florida pythons and everything that are down on the Everglades, a lot of these invasive species are because tourists came, they got some cool pets they brought with them, or some Floridians went over and got like a feral pig or something like that pet, and or a python pet, and then when they got too big they just released them, and that's unfortunately destroying Florida's natural ecosystems, which is really fucking sad because I want to see the natural just Florida's natural beauty, not the stuff that's been destroyed.
Species, non-native animals that either outcompeted them or literally attacked them. This, along with habitat loss and people not appreciating their value, pushed them to the brink of extinction. But here's the great news. This species,
they're making a comeback.
the iguana, is making an amazing comeback. I need to find my buddy Nick because we've got another iguana that's about to taste freedom for the very first time. Here you go, buddy.
Let's see, what else? Is there anything cooler stuff?
Hard to find and hard to reach.
Careful, that lobster's gonna give you a pinch.
We only want mature lobsters.
Yes.
And this one is too small to keep.
Tasty. Lobster. Okay, so I have had some good lobster and I've had some bad lobster, right? Like it can get kind of annoying. We'll watch one more thing. I know he did a Florida thing. Hey, bro, lobster's delicious. I would not hate it till you try it, if it's done right. Oh, he has a noose. Oh, fuck yeah. I am happy as a pig in shit. 10 years ago, this was Wild Florida.
Would more effective writing give you an edge at work? Grammarly can make
Bro,
your job
it's actually not that hard to write professionally.
They do share many of the same
It's a Florida
traits.
panther.
Look at the size of these paws. Look at the size of those paws. Listen,
They're very, very rare.
very little sound is generated from this creature's
No,
moves.
the
And
sea
it's
roaches
very
and sea lice are totally different things.
important
Those are
when it comes
isopods,
to
I think.
leaping or pouncing.
That's a cute. I would boot
With
that
a swamp
snoot.
buggy, you can drive for miles and never leave the boundaries of the big cypress swamp.
Great about these swamp buggies. You can just plow right through this water.
Wow, look at this. Look what's coming up.
Roads? Who needs roads?
Problem, this thing has no brakes.
That
I
looks
would
so.
tell the Seminole people that I just stripped the gears of their nice swamp buggy. Yes, that's me when you go to your car in the
Don't
parking
do
lot.
that.
This
The
is
Seminole. I haven't really met any Seminole people, but I've heard they're really nice.
big scrape. I don't know, did I leave that little note? Sorry. Everything's all flooded, so if we want to find some snakes, we gotta go to some drier habitat. And that hammock looks like a good place.
We're actually moving off of Seminole Land and into an area called the Bush Wildlife Sanctuary.
We're looking for that dry stuff because this ground is so
That
saturated.
dry stuff, bro. You don't want the wet
This
stuff.
is probably too wet.
The dry stuff. Ooh.
Underneath
Is that a diamondback?
this layer of pine cones is
Yeah, it's a rattler.
beautiful serpent. I'm gonna go around the other side because I've learned from.
I hate those
this sort of
fucking
snake,
palm
they've got
trees.
a pretty good
I
strike.
love the big ones, but these are the more common ones. As a matter of fact, we have 2 in our backyard.
Try to see this. Come
We
right
also have
look
a
at this.
pine tree.
That beautiful face is sticking right out. Its
He'll bite the
tongue
fuck out of you.
tickling in the air. See that? That triangular shape and those divots are a clue to us that we are dealing with a viper. Just look at the tail. See that?
It's a rat.
So we have an eastern diamondback rattlesnake. Look at how pretty
Because they're
she
so stubby and they always have fucking wasps in them. Always, like without fail.
is.
I'm not allergic,
And I
but
should be able
god
just to
damn, I'm
move
tired
in
of
very
dodging that shit.
quietly and carefully without agitating
Bet you didn't
her.
know we had
So I'm just
rattlers
gonna
here in
secure
Florida,
the back end
but
of
we
her tail
do.
like this, and now I can work her safely.
Ain't it
I've got her
nifty?
out of strike range, so she can't strike me. And now I can hold her up like this.
Yeah, I don't like wasps, man. They're a pain in the ass.
Gorgeous snake.
Ah,
Look at the size
Jesus,
of it. Look how
big.
stocky this creature is. She's got
He's a
2 very
chunker.
large fangs to the front, large venom glands,
That's a
dubinoid
chunker.
glands, and can deliver a copious amount
Yeah,
of
he
venom.
can really
Now, what's neat
fuck
about
your
the
day
venom of
up.
This animal is the venom is not only designed to be lethal, it's also designed to liquefy, to dissolve the flesh,
Yeah, it's
to
not-
promote
it's
the
not pretty.
digestive process of the prey that this creature is eating, such as a rodent.
Oh,
in the
okay.
case of an
So, you know, the whole thing of in Texas, everything's bigger and better, man. You know what? I don't ever hear on the news, Texas man did this, Texas man did that. It's always Florida man and Florida woman. What you got to say to that? I always I'm terrible at looking at the camera, so I'm going to put it like right here. So when I'm looking at my screen and I'm looking at chat, I'm looking at you guys. So that's what I'm going to do. So you guys got a course for that. Miss Texas. Texas is not bigger and better. Florida man will outdo Texas man any fucking day.
Eastern diamondback.
You get
famous for
your
eating
crackhead,
rabbits.
I'll get my
Love
crackhead, we'll meet
rabbits.
at dawn,
So
and we'll
let's
duel.
place this creature back into this little area where we discovered it. And see
Florida's
what else
better,
we
bro.
can
I
find
will
here.
never. I mean, don't get me wrong. I might live in Texas just because I like some of their gun laws a little bit better. But I also think Florida's kind of moving that way. So I might just stay in Florida because Florida is fucking amazing. We actually had this conversation the other day. We're pretty much done with the reaction, by the way. This is on to me talking. So I was talking with my dad. I was like, I don't think I'll ever live anywhere that's like really, really cold or like a mild climate anymore. Like Florida is pretty much my home, and I love it. Honest to God, I when I first came here, I hated it. Hated Florida. Now I fucking love it. As a grown adult, I mean, there's just so much to do. Like, and there's just so much to do. I mean, in all reality, you know, it's amazing. So I hope every one of you guys enjoyed who has been watching on YouTube. If you guys did, like, comment, and subscribing is now mandatory, guys. I hate to pull that card, but we are almost we're getting really close to that 100 subscriber goal by the end of this year. And after that, I want to hit the races and go. So subscribe, share it with a friend, please. Share it with your mom. Make your dog have an account, and subscribe. If you guys have any suggestions on what I can do, feel free to tell me. I will be responding tomorrow morning to comments. So if you guys comment, I will be responding in the morning. I usually like to try to respond to everybody's comments as much as I can. Until then, guys, I hope you've enjoyed it all. I'll see you guys in the next one.